was the journey? Okay, so when you got it, when you came in really kind of blazing the trail like right off the jump, because you were hungry, you were passionate, you were into the information. You got your license. What do you think is the difference for you? Like, why is it the training portion versus just, okay, well, I'm just gonna, just produce and write my business? Like, because there's types of people that say, hey, look, I'm just gonna focus on just the product aspect. For right. You took the information and said, hey, look, I need to disseminate this. I need to share this with everybody. I want to help others get proficient with it. What is the driver of that lane for you?
Oh, man, let me tell you something. I've gotten more business through education than I ever had to sell. Don't get me wrong. There was a time where I used to sell and it was hard because I had to try to persuade people or try to tell them this is better than this, or you trash talk this to that. I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that because there's no such thing as bad insurance. They're all good. It's just depending on where you are. So I've learned how to educate. So there's 4 things I teach people. I teach them their FIN number, which tells them why they need to start saving now. I don't care if it's $10, $50, start now, right? So that creates the why. Then I teach them how to put together a budgeting plan. I show them the how to save. And then I show them how to create a financial foundation, how and what you need to have in place. So the fact that I provide financial services with financial education, when I show someone to put together their proper protection, and I say, hey, based on the understanding, before you die, there's 4 things you need to have in place: life insurance, final expense insurance, a will, and a trust. Why do I need these things? Life insurance to replace your dime. It pays for your debt, replace your income for 10 years, pays the balance on your mortgage, and educational planning for your children. That's why you need life insurance. Why do you need final expense insurance? Because life insurance doesn't pay out within 24 to 48 hours. It takes around 4 to 6 weeks. So you need final expense insurance that takes care of the funeral arrangements. That pays out within 24 to 48 hours. And the reason why you need to have a will, you need to have all your wishes written down in documents so it avoids the arguments. And the trust is to protect all your assets: house, car, jewelry, all of that. That's why I show people how to create that financial foundation by putting together proper protection first. Then we show you how to manage your debt. Then we show you how to create an emergency fund. And then we show you how and where to save and invest your money. And last piece of it, 4th thing, we'll show them how to use the wealth formula to build up their savings and their investments.
Absolutely. And then if you can teach that to enough people, then they can also be sharing that message as well.
And they empower it for themselves.
It's amazing. No, I love the model, man. Like I love the way that you approach it. Let me ask you this. So at this point, you're 10 years in. I know you're building, man. We talk on a fairly, or at least see each other on a fairly regular basis. We share some mentorship and some friendships. What's keeping you motivated? Like, what keeps you motivated on a day-to-day basis?
There was a time where I used to think it was my family, but it's not. As you said it, it came to me. I call it the light bulb moment. I never really talk about it publicly, but for me, what keeps me motivated is the light bulb moment. It's the moment where someone didn't know anything, and the moment when they go, oh my God, I get it. I live for that moment. Like, I get excited when someone gets it, because then I feel like I'm not the only one that gets it now. You get it too. It creates a room where we can have conversations that we're not having, especially within our Black community, man. We need this information in all communities. I tell people that wealth is not just a Black thing. Poverty and being poor, because remember now, poor is not about money. Poor is a mindset.
Mindset, yep.
Poor is when we pass over opportunities repeatedly to learn and earn. And that makes us broke, which then makes us broken. And once you become broken, you can be fixed. We just have to be open to learning. That's the thing. Financial literacy is the answer to poverty.
100%. 100%, man. Look, you really kind of summarized, just not only, what your message is, but really what your journey has been as well. But I do want to ask, how do you feel your life has been prior to being licensed versus after having a license? And to break that down, how do you feel like having a license has changed you as a person?
It taught me to never give up on what you believe in. Because of the journey, it took me 13 try. And now I could be a testimony to someone and say, it took me 13 try, but it gave me 13 lessons. So I don't look at it as a bad thing anymore. I look at it as like a blessing, because those lessons taught me to never give up. And I've always been determined. And I always remind myself when there's days where doubt creep in. And I said, dude, you're going to give up? 13th try? You're crazy. So many more people need you out here. So I never get comfortable, because I just always think, who else can I help? So prior to me being licensed, I didn't have real goals. I didn't have a real purpose. So me coming in the financial industry, it gave me a purpose that was bigger than me. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than my family. It was bigger than the people that I associate myself with. Because, you know, Rod, you know, I educate people in Trinidad and Netherlands, and I teach them these fundamentals. That to me showed me that financial literacy is a global thing.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than me. So that's what it changed for me. It gave me a purpose. And my purpose is to empower everyone with this knowledge, empower everybody that I know. I just want people to be empowered, man, because I feel like if I can't be rich in this lifetime, I'm going to make sure the ones behind me have the knowledge with the money. And that's why you got to have life insurance.
That's right. That's right. And you're a father as well.
Yeah, six.
I mean,
boys, girls.
Right. So, you know, so I mean, having a father is like, what does that mean for you? Because what does that mean for you to actually have, you know, this space, this platform, this industry to be able to share from as well? Because you just touched on making sure that those who are coming after you. So how are you thinking about this impacting your children, not just for the things you put in place, but just you being in this industry?
I think the greatest example that I know this information is very relatively easily to learn is when my son at the time, he was just under 6 years old. And I remember him just sitting out by the office, outside the office, and he's having a conversation with his little brother, Kareem, and he's telling his little brother the rule of 72. And I'm listening to him. That's my oldest, Kiki.
Yeah, I remember. That's all I wanted to bring that. That's all I wanted you to talk about it. Yeah.
And Kiki's teaching his little brother the rule of 72. And he got so good at it to the point where I even have him teach this to my I was like, you guys don't understand this? Kiki, come up here. Tell everybody what the rule of 72 is. And this little kid is breaking this down, even on a main stage, in front of like thousands of people. And they're saying, if this little kid know this, what's stopping me as an adult? So that's when I learned that this information is easily grasped, because I didn't sit him down and say, listen. He was just by the door, just always listening to me teaching. And this is just eavesdropping. So I started putting it in front of him. My son today is an entrepreneur. He's 11-year-old. He's trying to figure out ways how to build things. At first, he wanted to do gaming. The next thing he wanted to get into clothing. Now he's telling me he's cleaning shoes and he's into that type of things. The kid is always trying to figure out ways how to make money. And I think about that and I said, that to me is the greatest thing that this business has given me, is because as a father, you know, I grew up without my real father. I had the best stepdad ever. God rest his soul. To me, I just want to give my kids something that will last forever. And it's not money. It is not materialistic things, but it's knowledge.
Yeah.
And when you give someone knowledge, you can't stop them. You could lock them up. You could take away their material. But this, no one can take this from you.
That's right.
The one thing I want to make sure all my kids have is this. Once you have this, you can make it all the time, every time. As a matter of fact, you make more because you learn from your mistakes. So the head start I want to give my kids is the understanding with the information.
Absolutely, man. Yes. 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 So at this stage, when you think about your goals, when you think about the evolution, of Mr. Finance and where your career is headed, what's the end goal? What does it look like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now? What is the final end game for Keyon Corniffe?
Well, now you get a chance to hear my end goal.
All right.
So my end goal, it starts with my FIN number.
Okay.
My FIN number is $42.6 million by the age of 50 years old, which will give me $50,000 a month from 50 all the way to age 121, because I will be living a very long life. 25,000 for me, 25,000 for my spouse. And what we're going to do is go around the world and create infrastructures, not just for agriculture, but also pertaining to education. And I want to go around to less fortunate places around the world and do that for the rest of my life and give back. So my goal is to even create 1,000 people that in my organization that made $5 to $10 million each a year annually. So that way, that legacy through financial education continues. And if I could change 1,000 people's life before I'm 50 years old and go around the world and impact lives, that's my legacy. So that's why I said, be a Shanaz, be a king's pride, and make that your legacy. My legacy is to continue to empower people and the world with financial literacy.
Yeah, man. That's an incredible goal, man. That's a wonderful vision. And I see that for you. I will it for you. And it's kind of inevitable. Like I said, I've seen the energy and passion that you have in regards to what you do. And it's no doubt that that's in your future. That's in your future. Talk for somebody who's listening, talk to that person who's hearing you right now in this conversation, and they're like, man, the way that he's talking about this stuff, he knows that he's been in this business a while. He's familiar with it. I don't know. But maybe they're thinking about joining the industry. They're thinking about getting into it. What words do you have for them?
I want to tell you, and I'm going to talk to you as if I'm already seeing you. I want to tell you, first thing you got to do is know why you're doing it. When I first started, I just wanted to make an extra $10,000 a year just to add on to what I was already making to make ends meet. And then it went from making 10,000 that I wanted to educate 10,000 people. So I would tell you, attach your monetary goals towards a purpose. So that way the purpose will always drive you and the monetary goals will come naturally to you. Never do it for the money. Do it for the purpose. Do it for the mission, and the commission will come. Find a purpose. I can't stress that enough. What kept me going in my down times, hurt times, winning times is my mission. I never stop and say, check, did that. No, the mission continued all the time. So for these past 10 years, I've educated well over 5,000 people in my career. And that's nothing, because I want to get to a place where I could educate 10,000 people a month, 1 million people a year. So you got to tie your desires to a purpose, a mission. And the one mission I'll tell you, and I discovered this literally in my late 20s, I've learned that life is not about what you could get and take, but life is about what you could give. The more you give, the more you receive. And that's why people solve problems. Be a problem solver. I've learned to solve a problem in the financial industry, which is where I teach those people those 4 things: their FIN, their budget, their financial foundation, and wealth formulas. I found a problem and I fixed it. And I made something complicated and I made it simple. So if you could simplify complicated things, that's your purpose. And help a lot of people and teach them it. That's the business.
That's it.
That's how everybody became a billionaire.
Come on in. Come on. All right. So look, man, this has been, a powerful conversation. lot of great gems, jewels, information that was shared. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to empower some people. It's going to motivate some people, you know, to really pull some triggers and make some moves in their life. If they even if they're not getting their license after listening to this interview, they certainly going to be looking to get their financial house in order for sure with the concepts that you talked about. If somebody wants to get in contact with you, they want to communicate, reach out, they want to find out more, not only about financial literacy and financial education, how to get into the business, how they can work with you directly. How do they reach Keyon Corniffe? How do they reach you?
Simple. You go on TikTok and you go find me there. I am Mr. Finance. Or simple, text me or call 973-873-5977. Or you can just literally Google Bshanaz Legacy, which is BSHYNAZ Legacy, and you'll find everywhere to find me. It's not hard to find Mr. Finance. Google Mr. Finance. Look me up on any social media platform. I am Mr. Finance.
Yeah. And some great content and inspiration as well that you put out there. We'll make sure that we got, you know, Bshanaz Legacy, Mr. Finance, the social handles, you know, all down on the screen as well for you to check out. Keyon, man, thank you so much for taking the time, you know, coming to speak on the platform, share your story. It's so powerful. It's so inspirational, man. I know that you're going to continue to impact people in a positive way. And for those who are listening, who have been able to experience and benefit from this conversation, maybe you heard something, you heard a nugget, heard a jewel, heard a moment, heard a piece of information that made you think to yourself, you should get a license. Until the next time, take care.